legit don't want to mess you up. I don't want to railroad your diet.
No, lifestyle change.
Lifestyle
Yeah, it's
change.
my lifestyle change.
I mean, I'll bring you some cookies tomorrow if you're okay with it. I just don't want to be responsible for railroading anything.
No, I mean I appreciate that. It's occasionally I can have something sweet, like this past weekend. I had a family-sized bag of peanut M&Ms.
Oh, nice.
So sometimes you can treat yourself.
Yeah. So every 3 days you can treat yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, that was an exception to the rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the dogs are stressing me out. There's one dog that peed on the floor twice, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need some peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. Most people go to alcohol, sometimes drugs, maybe heroin. You go to peanut butter M&Ms or peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean, and is that not better?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, based on what they put in our food supply, I don't know if it is better.
Well, I would just about die for peanut M&Ms.
Mm.
That, you know, it brings me back to my childhood at Christmas time. I'd get a small bag of M&Ms, and my dad would get a whole thing of M&Ms. And during the year, we wouldn't get any M&Ms, and we'd be watching the Donnie and Marie show or Hee Haw, and I'd be sitting on the floor. And my dad would throw me peanut M&Ms, and I'd catch them in my mouth. And to this day, I can catch a peanut M&M in my mouth.
Yeah, I know.
When I was younger, I could do it behind my back.
I've seen you try behind your back. You've lost that ability.
Yeah, I have.
But it seems like it's dangerous. You might knock out a tooth or something.
No, I have actually had a peanut M&M dropped off a 3-story building as a radio stunt.
Yeah.
And I caught it on my tongue.
Wow.
Yeah, with like this.
And then flipped it back into your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should recreate that one day.
No, that was 30 years ago.
Well,
that was long ago.
So a couple things that I want to go through real quick, and I got to do a Hey Now roll call as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Monday edition. Well, I guess I'll start. The thing that's at the top of my mind is what we've been talking about in our OTL group.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Do you fully understand what happened?
Well, no, because, I mean, I'm running the show while it's going off.
Okay,
so I hadn't really had a chance to.
This goes back to Bubba's show, and I'm not trying to rip off somebody else's radio show and talk about their drama here, but it's at the top of mind. So Seth, former employee,
right, boo.
Former co-host, you said boo. He at one time, I guess maybe weeks or months before he quit or got fired, he had gone to Bubba and said, "Hey, my wife's pregnant. There's a problem with the baby, and we're going to have to go get the baby aborted because I don't know the details of, maybe it was not going to make it and they didn't want to go through the whole thing or whatever." But Bubba's like, "Okay, well, here's $3,500. It's not a loan. Don't worry about paying me back. Just here, take this." And so they had to, because it's illegal in Florida, they had to go to Illinois to do it. So Bubba's like, "Here's money to go do it." They go to Illinois to do it. Well, while they're there, they end up going to a White Sox game and doing a couple other things, which struck them as odd, but they just, said whatever. And not that the procedure that they had to have done, we don't know that was not real. It may very well be.
But I wouldn't think you could just go to a baseball game afterwards.
Well, so Bubba's talking to his sister, and she's like, "Hey, are you gonna miss Seth?" and blah blah blah. And he's like, he says, "Not really." He's like, and they were discussing it or whatever. He's like, "Yeah." And there was this one time I had to give him $3,500 to go to Illinois and blah blah blah. She goes, "Wait, you gave him $3,500 for that?" He asked me for $3,500 too.
What?
And they're like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then a few days after that, Babyface comes in the picture. Same story gets brought up. Same thing. Took $3,500 from Babyface. And so, a little over 10 grand.
10.5, man. What the heck?
I know, dude. And so I think that was known, and then nothing. It wasn't going to be brought up, but then ultimately, something was said by Seth's wife online, taking a shot at Bubba, and he said, "Screw it, I'm going to bring it up on the air," and he brought it up today on the show. And so that's just to give you some context, because you didn't understand what was going on in the text group.
Right.
That's the full story, or that's the short version.
Man, radio is a crazy business.
And that's what I love so much about that show. It's just that real life drama.
Yeah.
And they have no problem putting it out on air. It's so good.
Man, I can't believe that's fraud.
And then the cherry on top, and it keeps happening to him. You remember Blitz? Same thing. Was ordering a bunch of stuff. Spice Boy with the Hogan tape and all that. And then on top of it, he got, I guess, over the weekend or at the end of last week, got a letter from the state of Florida that he had filed unemployment, and they were looking for Bubba to approve his unemployment since he got fired. So said that, did all that, and then turned around and filed unemployment.
What a despicable human being he's turned out to be. Good gosh.
I know. And so Bubba's like, "Oh, I'm going to tell them that they can't, I'm not going to approve it." He said, "I've even got the video of where I fired him." So it's like,
man.
Yeah, you feel like you know somebody, because we met him, and, he's a great guy. We always kind of supported him and thought he was great on the show and everything else, and turned out to be not so great of a guy.
Looks can be deceiving, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so anyway, that's all a side note. Over the weekend, as we noted, we were going to Comic-Con. You had an emergency
Yes.
and had to dip out last minute. So Peyton and I went, and I'm kind of glad you didn't go, because I think you would have been put in a position, an awkward position, where if we would have rode together, you would have gotten home way too late, or you would have, caused us to have to leave early.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been happy to leave early, but Peyton was having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Like once in a lifetime deal. So we get out there, and our main objective out there is to meet some of the wrestlers. And there's a lot of them. There's Sergeant Slaughter's out there, Lex Luger, Ron Simmons, the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the Hardy Boys, and Peyton's a big Hardy Boys fan, especially Jeff Hardy. Loves Jeff Hardy. And so that was our main goal. So we get out there, and there's the row of wrestlers or whatever. A couple of the tables are empty. Ron Simmons and Lex Luger's already left. Of course, we didn't get there till, 5 or a little after 5, and they closed that portion of Comic-Con at 6. And so a couple of them had already left. The Hardy Boys had a little bit of a line, so we went ahead and jumped in that line. Over on the other two tables where there were still wrestlers there, it was Sergeant Slaughter and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
And there were nobody at either of those tables. Sergeant Slaughter was over there packing his stuff up, about to get out of there. And you could see Billy Gunn and Road Dogg were kind of doing the same thing. And so I thought, the two guys I wanted to meet was Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. So we went over there and talked with him for a minute and just kind of BS'd and whatever. And while we're doing that, Sergeant Slaughter has packed up his stuff, and he's got his bags, and, he's an old man, obviously.
Right.
And he just walks away from his table, and he walks off into the crowd, and nobody's acknowledging him whatsoever.
Oh, man.
And it was kind of, and not to take anything away from him, because I would have liked to meet him too, but I didn't want to bug him as he was trying to walk away. It was kind
he
of
probably would have loved that. At this point in his
he
career.
probably would. But it was kind of a depressing scene, watching him walk. And the wrestlers do that so they can make money. It's mostly, for the most part, it's older wrestlers that can't make money from wrestling anymore.
Right.
I mean, even after he left, we were looking at his booth and the big banners that was like, pictures of Sergeant Slaughter. They even had signs on those banners saying, "I'm for sale. It will sign,"
Oh, man.
I was like, man, they're going to sell everything. But it was kind of a depressing sight. But anyway, we get in there and we get through the line with the Hardy Boys and we get to meet them, and they're super gracious. And Peyton gets a picture with Jeff Hardy, and they're showing love, man. These guys are great. Like, asking Peyton about a shirt, like the logo on his shirt and all this kind of stuff. Just really showed him some love. And then they were doing something called the Hardy After Party after that. And we go in there, and it's the most intimate setting. It was essentially like we just got to hang out with those guys for 2 hours.
Wow.
As you know, Matt Hardy told old wrestling stories, and Jeff Hardy did an acoustic set with, where he was singing, and he had a guy with him that played acoustic guitar.
Oh, man.
Did some original songs for us. There's about 20 of us in there. Like, it was very small. And but what was funny is when Matt Hardy was out there, he was talking about how Jeff was running around Birmingham with his people because the guy that was with him, his guitar's still in North Carolina. They didn't ship it. The airline didn't ship it or whatever. Well, 5 minutes after Matt Hardy tells that story, I get a text from David Lynham. And David's like, hey, man, I got some guys looking for a guitar. He says, I don't know these guys real well. Some guy named Jeff Hardy. He said, do you think Bird's got an extra guitar that these guys could use for a couple hours? And I was like, I'm actually at that event as they're talking about looking for a guitar. So I thought that was ironic. I actually went to him and told him that story. I was like, yeah, you all must have been looking far and wide because even I was getting texts to help find a guitar for you guys, and I'm sitting here waiting on you to play. So it's pretty wild.
That's very cool. Well, how did they get the guitar? A guitar?
I think Guitar Center maybe loaned them a guitar or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what they said, but they ended up finding one and, got to do their whole thing. So it was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool for Peyton, which was the biggest thing, man.
Yeah.
He had the time of his life. And so that was fun. Anyway, I wanted to tell you all those stories. That's why I made you stay extra time. I didn't mean to talk about myself the whole time, but
No, that's fine. I didn't do much of anything this weekend.
all right, let's do the Hey Now roll call real quick. I know you're always excited about that.
Yep.
I'll make it brief. Let's see. Early birds are going to be Sydney, David, Lily, Ron with the J's, Bubba Rumble, Hell Yeah, Ricky Scott, and the number one for today is none other than Jay. How? Jay. Good job, buddy. All right, Jay. So get in your song, man. Number 2, Craig. Number 3, Scott. Dale, Ebo, Maggie, Hippie with the J's. AJ, Tracy, Jeff with the J's. George, Dr. McReady, Leslie, Cherry, James, B-Red, Boomer, Jackson, Michael, Hey Now, everybody.
Hey, after the break, if you don't mind, I'll stay a little bit longer. I've got the final 4 for Jumbo.
Yes, let's do that. That's perfect. That's actually perfect. All right, 205-545-9950. Your final 4 coming out right after this. You know, it's funny. It's known that we play a lot of Fortnite, and there are certain what they call emotes, which is just random dances you can make your character do.
Uh huh.
And I mean, when you've been playing for so long, you collect a lot of them. I mean, a ton of them. And this is one of them where it plays this song and it does the dance to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Trish, I don't think she does it anymore, but she used to do this one all the time. And in those emotes, it's only playing, maybe 15 seconds of the song, and then it just loops over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But when you play, you hear it a lot because people will just be, they'll kill somebody and then start dancing on their dead body or whatever. I'll send you. I get clips and reels like that pop up all the time. I'll start sending you some.
Yeah.
We need to get you in on that. Start playing.
Yeah, I'm not good at shooting people.
Oh, you get the hang of it. Especially when you first start, you get bot lobbies. So the people you go up against are like, NPCs that don't.
I was so bad that my son stopped playing with me when he was 11. That's how bad.
Listen, it's 2026. If you go online and you look at any of these people that stream their gameplay, I mean, it's everybody from 20-year-olds to grannies. I mean, everybody's playing video games these days. It is widespread. It is mainstream, if you will.
Yes.
So, top four real quick. We're very short on time.
Yeah, okay, all right.
You almost forgot. You stayed extra for that, and you still forgot.
Yes. Okay, the top four here. Okay, coming in at what? Blah blah blah. Somebody's Baby by Jackson Brown. She must be somebody's baby.
I don't know
She's
that
so
one.
fine. Okay, then Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd.
Okay. I'm down with that
That's
one.
12 string. And then this one I'm a little scared of, Interstate Love Song by Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then the surprise, Fat Bottom Girls by Queen.
Okay, so any of those last three I'll be good with.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, Fat Bottom Girls will be good.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I'm good with any of those three, which means that the one that I don't want is going to be the one that wins, the first one. Somebody's Baby or whatever you said it was called.
I think Wish You Were Here may end up winning.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'll have to work on that. Matter of fact, I went ahead and posted the final four too because I'm scared. I got to go ahead and decide.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to practice no matter what wins.
All right, man. Well, go get some sleep, buddy.
I shall, my friend.
And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll have a big show tomorrow. How's that sound? All right, bottom of the hour. We're going to get it kicked off right after this. Don't go anywhere, cuzzy. All right, 205-545-9950. 545-9950. I guess over the past, I don't know, 24 hours, just an Iran update, there were a couple missiles fired at our guys that were intercepted. These are just kind of it's like gnats, swatting away gnats, if you will. This is what we've been dealing with over the past few days, past couple weeks, I guess, as Iran is taking aggressive actions, but we've hit Iran with a fourth round of what's being described as self-defense strikes. And we're still trying to cut a deal here and move on with all of this. And I believe it's closer than it's ever been, but it is a very fluid situation, as you know. I believe we ended last week with a deal being brought to the president, and then they were in the Situation Room discussing it, and Trump ultimately wanted to make some amendments to that deal, and it's kind of, I guess it's just kind of floating out there right now, but we'll see. Gas prices were coming down a little bit over the weekend. I don't know what they look like today, but coming down, I guess, a pretty good chunk as the market seems confident that there will be a resolution soon. So we'll see. But I think it goes to show you how quickly that these prices can drop when there is a resolution to this. So we'll keep our eye on that. We did talk at the end of last week about that that chemical tank implosion at the Washington paper mill. I guess we called it white liquor. Was it white liquor, brown liquor, whatever it was called? It was the chemicals that they use in order to make paper products. We found out that 11 of those workers were killed in that explosion or that implosion. All the victims have been identified, they say, but an awful, awful situation is. We speculated. I think it was callers or people on the text line speculated that if you were anywhere near that fire or that implosion, that there was just no way to survive. Like it would just, the whole thing would just dissolve you right there on the spot based on those chemicals. So the tank held 900,000 gallons of white liquor. Says a mixture of sodium hydroxide and sodium sulfide used in the pulping process to break down wood chips into paper pulp was roughly 60 to 90% full at the time of the failure. Rupture released a flood of hazardous chemicals across the plant grounds, overturning vehicles, damaging structures, and contaminating nearby ditches and the Columbia River. So I don't know what the ultimate call was, or what the verdict was on the danger to the environment or even local water supply. I don't know how that lays out, but said emergency responders from the Longview Fire Department and other agencies arrived quickly. Initial reports indicated blah, 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 blah. This is the old report. Recovery operations were made more difficult by the unstable tank structure and hazardous chemicals. Crews worked over several days, prioritizing responder safety and the dignified recovery of remains. By Saturday, Longview Fire Chief Brad Hanig announced that all 9 missing workers' bodies had been recovered. The final death toll stands at 11, and it gives their names. He emphasized that the site remains an active hazardous environment and that response efforts could continue for weeks or months. Officials stated there's no threat to the community drinking water supplies or airborne contamination. So if that is true, that's good news. But that was an awful, awful situation out of Washington as all that happened. What else? What else did I see over the weekend? Oh, okay, and I just want to bring this up for a minute just because I'm kind of interested by it, I guess. I mean, really it's not that big a deal, but um so Kanye West has been doing shows overseas, and the shows that he's been doing, he's been getting record numbers of people. I mean, like he just did one in Istanbul with over 120,000 people. I mean, usually musical artists don't bring in that many people because there's not. I mean, the venues that they normally do are kind of smaller venues, you know. I mean, 30, 40,000 tops. Uh, Unless you see one at, say, an NFL stadium. Even in an NFL stadium doesn't hold that many people, you know? I mean, you're talking roughly 60, 70,000 in an NFL stadium. Then when you get to college stadiums like Bryant Denny or Neyland Stadium, that's when you start looking at the over 100,000 people, 120,000 people mark. And I guess it may be soccer stadiums overseas, that's what they have. I mean, of course, even in a college stadium, right? You've got 100 and say 110,000 seats. That's considering an entire football field filling it up. When you put a stage on the field that isn't the size of the football field, and maybe only not even a quarter of the football field, you've then got all that extra room to put seats on the floor. And so you get even more people in there. But anyway, he holds this concert in Istanbul, gets 120,000 people there. All the while, he's getting canceled by other cities because he's controversial. He says, it says he tasted record-breaking success in Istanbul, Turkey, while the news of a cancellation by an Italian city foretells the uphill battle of the reacceptance of Kanye West. The Italian city of Reggio Emilia has now joined a list that includes New Delhi, India, London, UK, Marseille, France, Switzerland, and Poland. It says a Kanye West concert in Italy has been canceled over public order and scrutiny concerns. The U.S. rapper had been due to perform in the city this summer, but local officials ordered its cancellation because of concerns over the potential for protest, with Kanye West having faced a wave of cancellation following years of anti-Semitic remarks. So literally, and this is what's crazy to me, is there are plenty of artists out there that have done crazy things in their personal life. And not only that, but have what most would consider would be offensive songs or offensive lyrics. Yet these guys get to go on and continue to do their thing. But Kanye West, who is, you know, arguably one of the most popular artists of our time, is getting canceled. It's kind of like, I mean, it's not like he's running around doing that stuff now. You kind of got to say, all right, maybe he's turned over a new leaf. And if he starts, you know, doing stuff that's detrimental to himself or detrimental to a particular city or venue, then, you know, make the call then. But if you're in the business of making money, you got to book Kanye West because that's a moneymaker, my friend. People still love that stuff. His old music, back before he kind of went off the reservation, I mean, that stuff's just as popular now as it was back then. And if he gets out there and just singing the old hits, what's wrong with that? It's better than him doing like a Bruce Springsteen and out there spending half of his concert making political speeches. You know? Why can't Why can't Kanye West go out there and do his thing? So anyway, that's crazy to me. But of course, that's overseas. I'm not going to pretend to understand why they're making the decisions that they're making. But that's what they do. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I do want to start off when we get back talking about what's going on in LA. This is, I think, coming up tomorrow is the LA mayor's race, which is going to be a it's going to be crazy. But some shenanigans are already happening before we ever got there. Before we ever get there, and I want to break that down for you when we get back. First, Noto Roofing, Noto roofing.com, notoroofing.com. Hit my guys up, get that free roof inspection. As you know, with the storms and the rain and everything else that's been happening over the past couple of weeks, now is the prime time for you to get your roof inspected. Doesn't cost you a thing. They get up there, they inspect it, they give you a complimentary roof tune-up, and they tell you what they find. Maybe good news, maybe bad news. One thing you can guarantee yourself is they're not going to come down that ladder and upsell you or try to sell you on something you don't need. They don't have to do that. They're plenty busy, and they're able to treat people right. They want to treat people right because they're dealing with their community members, their neighbors, their friends, their family. They're going to treat you like family, especially when you tell them you're part of the Hey Now Nation. So call them up, 205-848-2299. That's 848-2299, online, notoroofing.com. Make sure you tell them Andrew McLean sent you. All right, so if you're on YouTube, I want you to give me a hey now in the chat. Give me a hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. You'll hook me up. Just so I know you're out there. If you want to get in on the show, 205-545-9950. 545-9950. So, yeah, tomorrow is the day that what do we call them? Los Angelinos. They go to the polls, and I say they go to the polls. The voting is so whacked out there that a lot of them have, put their ballots in drop boxes and everything else. But the first the first polls have come out that show Spencer Pratt in the lead over Karen Bass for the first time. And I think that is a sign, because I got a feeling that Spencer Pratt is actually in the lead. Now, does that mean he's going to win? No, it does not, because it's the cesspool of Los Angeles. And too many shenanigans go on with their elections. Got to remember, Karen Bass is in power. She has a lot of pull in those local elections, and she's not going to let Spencer Pratt win that election just because the majority of Los Angeles citizens want him to win. Now, does that mean he can't pull it off? No, absolutely not. I think he can pull it off, but it's almost going to have to be a too big to rig situation in order for him to do it, because there's going to be shenanigans without a doubt. But he's put on a great campaign. He's put himself out there, unlike Karen Bass. And one of the most genius political ads that I've seen in the midterms actually came from Spencer Pratt. There's been a lot of people on the internet putting out AI stuff that seem like that are pro Spencer Pratt ads that are not from Spencer Pratt, but I think they probably are beneficial to him. But there was one ad in particular, and I think I brought this up already, but it's 3 guys sitting around a backyard in LA, and they're grilling out and drinking beer, and they're just, sitting around solving the world's problems. And then they get on the topic of just the problems that Los Angeles had. And each one of them would be like, I'm not MAGA or anything, but I'm really tired of homeless people sleeping out in front of my driveway. The next guy would be like, yeah, I'm not MAGA or anything, but I'm really tired of stepping on needles when I go to a public park. And then each one of them would be like, I'm not MAGA or anything. And I'm like, that's genius, because Spencer Pratt would never be able to attach himself to Donald Trump and win a race in Los Angeles, right? Even the people that want change, including liberals, you can't get the idea. Even though Donald Trump has mentioned Spencer Pratt and said, hey, I hope this guy wins, Spencer Pratt has had to do his due diligence and try to distance himself from Donald Trump because TDS runs so deep in Los Angeles if he wants to win. And yes, he's still running as a Republican. He's kind of got to. But in order to win, he can't give some sort of formal endorsement of like, yeah, I think Donald Trump's doing a great job and I support him or what. He's got to completely stay away from that and stay focused on Los Angeles, which I think he has done. And so he might pull it off. He might just pull it off. And it would be something that is very needed, because you got to think the world is going to be focused on Los Angeles very soon, and they got a lot of cleaning up to do. And Karen Bass sure ain't going to do it. Could you imagine having the Olympics out in LA and people from all over the world are traveling there and they're having to, dodge, people overdosing on the street and feces and everything else. Like that's the representation of the U.S. that we're going to give the rest of the world. Democrats are not going to clean it up. Karen Bass is not going to clean it up. Karen Bass won't even prevent large swaths of her city from burning down. I mean, they can't even keep ballot boxes from burning down. And that's what brings us here, is reports that there were burned mail-in ballots found in L.A. drop boxes over the weekend. So they're still living in COVID days, right? And they've got ballot drop boxes where people can fill their ballots out for early voting or whatever. I don't even know if it's considered early voting. I think it's just hey, vote when you feel like it. And go and drop their ballots off in one of these drop boxes. Well, somebody has been going around to particular drop boxes and setting fires inside the drop boxes, which ultimately causes the ballots on the inside to be indistinguishable. You have no idea who they voted for, who it was that was voting, nothing. Said the incident was discovered yesterday morning in downtown LA when election workers were collecting ballots from a drop box outside the County Department of Public Social Services building in the Civic Center area. Now, I don't know anything about LA as far as like what's what or what's where, but the County Department of Public Social Services building in the Civic Center area sounds like a place that you would actually take your ballot to turn it in to an actual person, right? Like this sounds like kind of like your local county courthouse or whatever, or the Board of Registrars where you go and you drop off your ballot or you sign up to vote or whatever it is. Why do we have to have a drop box? Why can't you actually take it to the offices and drop it off with people instead of just dropping it in a box? It says, according to county officials, multiple vote-by-mail ballots appear to have sustained fire-related damage inside the official drop box. Authorities are also reviewing a separate act of election-related vandalism at a vote center located at Cesar Chavez Park in Long Beach. In a news release, county officials said that the Long Beach incident did not stop voting operations at the site, but the timing of both incidents raises serious concerns about the security of California's election system as voters head into the final stretch before Election Day. The L.A. County Registrar, Recorder, County Clerk Dean Logan said his office is working with law enforcement and other partners to review both incidents and determine whether any voters were effective. He says, our responsibility is to protect voters and ensure every eligible voter has the opportunity to cast a ballot. Officials said voters whose ballots may have been damaged in the Dropbox fire will be contacted directly and given options, including replacement ballots if necessary. Because that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We need to start giving out more ballots, sending them in the mail to more people, and just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. What a mess. But yet another argument for not having ballot drop boxes, because people can go by and tamper with them. They don't have to have a key. They could go to a district that they know is voting for a particular candidate, light a few matches, light a piece of paper, throw it in the drop box, burn all those ballots up, and then what? Then all of a sudden that particular candidate loses a bunch of votes.